Senator from Vermont, Sanders, opposes that bill. He joins me now. Senator, what a pleasure to see you.
Good to be with you.
So the bill passed the House last week. It will likely pass in the Senate. Why should the president, you think, veto this?
Well, because I think it's a good idea for the president, Congress, and the American people to listen to the overwhelming amount of scientists who tell us loudly and clearly that climate change is one of the great planetary crises that we face, and that it is absolutely imperative. This is not Bernie Sanders. This is the scientific community who tell us that climate change is real. It is caused by human activity, the emission of carbon, that it is already causing devastating problems on this planet in terms of drought and flood and extreme weather disturbances. And unless we get our act together, the planet that we're going to be leaving to our kids and grandchildren is going to be significantly less habitable than the planet that we have right now. So we have got to reverse climate change. We have to cut carbon, and the idea of going to an area and allowing for increased exploration of some of the dirtiest oil on the planet, to me, makes no sense at all.
But, Senator, that oil already exists. That pipeline will transport it. So doesn't it ecologically make sense to transport it via pipeline versus, I don't know, the other ways that it's going to be transported if that pipeline's not there?
No, I'm not so sure that the oil will be transported, number one, because especially now with the price of oil going down, it is much more expensive to take it by rail and truck than through the pipeline. But second of all, I think that the Congress of the United States and the President have got to be very, very clear in siding with the scientific community and saying we have got to transform our energy system away from fossil fuel, to increase the exploration and transportation of dirty oil.
And let me take you, Senator, if I could, to last week's terror attacks in France. What do you think the U.S. response should be to make sure this, for example, doesn't happen here? And, you know, there's a lot of NSA discussions here and maybe people changing their thoughts and opinions after last week's terrorist attacks.
Well, I don't think there's anybody that can guarantee you that there will never be another terrorist attack in this country. We're up against some very ugly people who see their function in life to kill Americans or people in France. And I think we have got to do the best that we can in a myriad of ways to protect the American people, be aggressive in going after terrorists.
And how do you go after the terrorists aggressively? Tell me.
Well, how you go after the terrorists is you use your intelligence agencies as effectively as you can. You try to infiltrate these people, and you try to create a situation where world opinion makes it very clear that these kinds of attacks are disgusting, they are uncivilized, and we've got to do everything we can to defeat these people.
Senator Bernie Sanders, thank you for being with me. A pleasure.
My pleasure.
After the